Cartel, my people, my babies, my dogs, what's going on with y'all boys, man? You already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Golden Ghost, and welcome back to the Golden Ghost Cartel. And today I kind of want to talk about some stellarblade blood rain for reasons I hope I don't have to explain. Blood rain has been one of the major talks of the internet ever since its reveal, but unfortunately I feel like the discourse has been over all the wrong reasons. Instead of talking about what's in the game, speculating the world that we're about to engross ourselves in a few years' time, we're instead talking about if Evie looks like a kid or not for some reason, which is very, for the lack of a better word, an unintelligent discourse or a dumb discourse. When stellarblade first came out, people tried to say that Eve looks like a child in the face in this exact same fashion. There are characters released in other games that look more childlike than Evie and got universal praise instead of the heat that we're currently seeing for Evie. And if you look at Shiftup's other game, Goddess of Victory Nike, you will see if they truly want to design a character that looks like a kid, trust me, we would all know. But for all intents and purposes, I don't want to talk about the drama. I don't want to make a whole video about the drama that's been going on. I don't care enough about the drama. I want to talk about what's really important when it comes to stellarblade blood rain, and that's the contents of the game itself. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I feel like is important to be talked about. And when I looked at the comments and even rewatching the trailer a few times, looking at the comments of my reaction to that trailer, there's one consistent question that is looming over the community when it comes to this game. Where is Eve? To best answer this question is important to understand two things. A, the game is in its infant stages, which means there is a ton of things that can be changed and tinkered with by the time the game does release. And B, all of the things that ShiftUp has already stated in interviews and official statements regarding blood rain. In an interview by the CEO of ShiftUp, Evie is a special forces unit member tracking down a terrorist group in the city. This, alongside the CDDP logo on her back, is a key part to her identity, but the reason why hasn't been revealed yet. Another thing that hasn't been totally revealed yet is Evie's connection to Eve herself, but Mr. Kim, the CEO, did clarify that there is a connection that exists in the story between the two for this game. It's also important to note how Evie is being designed with the same philosophy as their other game, Goddess of Victory Nike, where the character is visually appealing, but their lore and characterization is so well put together that the visual appeal is literally only there to get you in the door instead of being the full focus. If ShiftUp was going to make a new protagonist, they were going to have to do something that is of the same or higher quality of a character than Eve visually, and give her great character writing in a story that the player can get fully behind to love the character beyond just her looks. This tells us a couple of things, but outside of what I've said already, ShiftUp is using their existing titles to go over what works and what resonates with everyone to craft their stellarblade blood rain. And this goes into my main point. ShiftUp has not forgotten about stellarblade 1. ShiftUp has, for a fact, not forgotten about Eve. Eve at this point is a modern icon. She is this generation's 2B, this generation's Bayonetta. ShiftUp will be foolish to abandon that for a whole new character. I think when a lot of people played stellarblade, they associated the whole game with just the character Eve, while the developers are looking to make stellarblade to be associated with an entire world. They want the game to be an entire world that they're building. And with this setup of having a new character, they have a ton of different directions that they can take this game. Eve could be leading this special forces unit that Evie's a part of and play a critical part as to why Eve is the way she is and her development throughout the story. They could take another route. They can both be working together, and then we'll be able to play as both Eve and Evie in the game. Just another example. They could use this as a prequel, and we could be playing as a younger, more vicious version of Eve. Or Eve could be long gone and seen as a legend that crafted this new world that everyone is currently in, and is basically seen as the god of this world. Either way you look at it from a story perspective, Eve plays a pivotal part of this installment, whether she's playable or not. And no matter which route they go, they can make it make sense in the mythos. If this game is a prequel, then it works because we didn't get to see Eve's past. If anything, the role we see Eve play in Stellarblade 1 is more of a passive character who springs into actions for things only for the sake of either completing her mission, but to also better understand the world that she's currently in, with the only other real exception was getting revenge for Taki. The player almost gets to self-insert themselves into the world through Eve while trying to understand the world that they're currently engaging with, all while staring at a nice butt for approximately 40 to 100 hours. A prequel for Eve can characterize her and show how she's always been someone who springs into action in her past and flesh out why. However, if this is the current time or the future, it will still make sense in the context of the first game, because this isn't a new story. This would be the results in future of what Eve has already accomplished and brought to the table in the first game, then allowing her to be the catalyst to pass the torch to another protagonist while still having a major role to play in Blood Rain. A new character gets fleshed out to be just as iconic as Eve, while also not disrespecting Eve as a character that got them to this point in the first place. Shiftup has lined it up perfectly, so no matter what road they go down, it will be something that is a worthy successor to the previous game. All they have to do is continue listening to feedback as they continue to work on the game, and based on how they've been treating their other games, including the way they supported Stellarblade 1, my Eve believers, please settle down, give them time, trust in the vision, trust the process, because I'm quite sure you guys have little to worry about. Now, if only we can get Raven as Stellarblade Blood Rain, man, that would be glorious. But that's all I got, man. If y'all enjoy this type of content, y'all want to see more, man, y'all already know what to do, man. Leave a like, comment, share it with your friends, all that good stuff, man. And as always, subscribe for some more from the Golden Ghost Cartel, man. GGC, we the best team in the league. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.